The savannah at midday was merciless. The sun pressed down with a weight that seemed to flatten everything beneath it, the grass, the dust, even the thoughts in a person's head. Heat shimmered above the cracked ground, rising in waves that distorted the horizon. The air smelled faintly of stone and dust, parched and heavy with silence. Anna and David had taken the jeep far off their usual patrol route, bumping across terrain that hadn't seen a ranger's tire tracks in months. Their shifts were already long, the reserve stretched thin during this brutal dry season. But Anna had spotted something unusual, a line of fresh tracks etched into the dust, leading toward a distant basin. "We can't ignore them," she said. "They head straight for the old waterhole." David squinted into the glare. "That place dried up weeks ago. Nothing should be heading there." "Exactly." The basin shimmered ahead like a scar in the plains. Once a hub of life, it now lay cracked and barren, with only a shallow muddy puddle left at its center. Silence pressed in, no birds, no movement, just the hum of heat and distant buzzing insects. Then Anna saw him. A leopard cub, no more than 4 months old, sprawled beside the puddle. His flanks rose and fell with shallow breaths. Dust matted his spotted coat, ribs faintly visible beneath the skin. His golden eyes were glassy, sunk with dehydration, barely able to focus. His paws twitched faintly, as though even standing had become impossible. Anna's breath caught. "David, he's barely alive." David jumped from the jeep, crouching near the cub. He brushed dust from the whiskers. The cub trembled but didn't resist. His breath rattled faintly, thin as paper. "We need transport," David said, calling on the radio. The reply crackled back, 30 minutes at least. Anna's stomach tightened. 30 minutes in this heat was an eternity. She knelt, unscrewing her canteen. Soaking a strip of cloth, she pressed it to the cub's muzzle. At first there was no reaction. Then a faint flick of his tongue, drawing in the smallest trace of moisture. His eyes fluttered shut, his body twitching. "Stay with me," Anna whispered. The heat gnawed at them, relentless. Sweat poured down their faces, shirts clinging like a second skin. The air seemed to vibrate, heavy and unbreathable. Anna tried shading the cub with her body, but her own head spun from the sun. David scanned the basin. His gut tightened. No cover, no shade, the scent of weakness thick in the air. Predators would come. And then he saw them. 3 shapes in the haze, sharpening into lean, mottled bodies, hyenas, loping toward the basin with heads low. "Anna," he said quietly. She followed his gaze. Her stomach dropped. David planted himself between the cub and the scavengers. Anna joined him, though her pulse thundered. Their sidearms were for deterrence, not prolonged defense. The hyenas slowed, circling, jaws parted. One let out an eerie whoop that echoed across the cracked ground. Anna's hand hovered near her holster. "If they rush us." "They won't," David muttered. "Not if we hold our ground." Behind them, the cub whimpered. The sound rippled through the scavengers like a spark. Their ears pricked forward, paws scraping the dust as they spread wider. David raised his pistol and fired into the dirt. The crack split the air, dust puffing upward. The hyenas flinched back, but didn't flee. They lingered, eyes glinting, patient. Minutes dragged on, each one stretched by the sun's merciless weight. Anna forced herself to kneel, dripping a few more drops of water onto the cub's tongue. She shielded him with her body, whispering words of comfort she wasn't sure he could hear. Her radio crackled, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes in this furnace, with predators circling. The hyenas drew closer again, snarling, teeth flashing. David spread his arms wide, shouting, stamping dust into the air. Anna rose beside him, shoulder to shoulder, her whole body trembling but her gaze steady. The cub stirred faintly at their feet, as if clinging to their presence. The basin hung silent. Heat shimmered. Even the cicadas had stopped. Then came the sound. A low rumble, steady, growing louder. At first Anna thought thunder, but the sky was flawless, a dome of burning blue. Dust rose on the horizon. A plume moving fast. The jeep, David breathed. Relief hit him so hard he staggered. The hyenas tensed. For a moment, it seemed they might charge. Then, snarling, they melted back into the savannah, swallowed by haze. The second jeep roared into the basin, brakes squealing. 2 rangers leapt out, one with a crate, the other with medical gear. Anna gathered the cub. His body was shockingly light, fragile as sticks. She pressed him to her chest, murmuring encouragement as she carried him to the crate. His muzzle pressed weakly against the damp cloth in her hand. David exhaled hard, sweat running down his face. His arms ached from tension, but his eyes softened as he looked at the spotted form. Against all odds, the cub was rushed to the reserve's veterinary station. For days, his survival balanced on a knife's edge. Fluids dripped into his frail body. He lay wrapped in blankets, shaded from the sun, breaths shallow but steady. The staff worked in shifts, checking every flicker of movement. Anna and David visited whenever possible. Sometimes he lay unmoving. Other times his whiskers twitched, paws shifting as though dreaming of grass and freedom. Each small sign lifted their hope a little higher. One evening, Anna sat quietly near the enclosure, listening to the faint hum of generators, the cicadas in the night grass. The cub shifted, lifting his head a few inches. His golden eyes, still weary but brighter, locked onto hers. He blinked once, slow and deliberate. Anna felt her throat tighten. For the first time she saw not a victim, but the spark of wild defiance that belonged to a leopard. David joined her, arms folded, his shirt still smelling faintly of dust and sun. He watched the cub wobble unsteadily toward the water bowl in his pen, lapping weakly. For the first time since the basin, David smiled without reserve. "He's going to make it," he murmured. Anna nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. The memory of that scorching afternoon would never fade, the cracked basin, the circling hyenas, the fragile cub. And the knowledge that, for 30 endless minutes, 2 rangers had stood between him and the end. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.